All right, so for my demo here, I'm going to be working using the book Brave New World. Now, your book might be different, but I wanted something that was kind of generic so that we had something to work with for the sake of the demo. Now, first thing I'm going to do is kind of look around and see what other examples have been done. What do I like about them? What do I not like about them? Kind of critiquing them in my mind and thinking about how I'm able to kind of put my own personal stamp on the book itself. Now, if you haven't read the book, it's about genetic engineering and far flung future, and how the people that live inside of the city have a very structured hierarchy, and then there are people who live outside of the city and they're savages in this kind of dystopia, but still in this kind of perfectionistic world. There's a whole lot more to it than that. That's a painful oversimplification, but I'm looking at just making the cover. So this is going to be a little bit of a quick demonstration, but hopefully it'll give you some ideas. Now, at this point, if you haven't already, you definitely want to start to use copyright-free imagery. You should not just be Google searching and stealing the first thing that you see. It's not good. It's, in fact, illegal. You absolutely should not be using anything that is copyrighted unless you yourself have taken it or you've actually paid for it. But the upside is this: there are websites out there, plenty of websites out there, that are a storehouse for royalty free images. So I've already gone ahead and searched up a couple things here, real quick. In the book, Brave New World, like I said, there's a lot of genetic engineering, and all the people in the town take this particular drug called Soma. So I want to focus on that. I think the drug culture that's inside the book is pretty fascinating. Also, at the same time, they are genetically creating individuals, ranging from alphas all the way down to epsilons. And the alphas are kind of in charge of society. I think that hierarchy, that structure, is really, really interesting too. So visually, I want to play up on kind of the pill. I want to play up on maybe like a fetus to kind of inspire this idea of genetic engineering a little bit. And I also want to play up on the idea of kind of this hierarchy. So those are the three things that stand out to me from the book. Now, you may want to think about colors and other things that stand out to you as well. But for me, I'm just going to start hunting around for some images that I can source or that I can use. So to start off with my design, I think I'm going to work in Adobe Illustrator. I want a crisp and clean kind of medical feel to like a wall of pills, and then maybe I'll superimpose the face of a baby on top of it. So to do that, I want to think about using gradients and try to get this kind of somewhat three-dimensional feel, but that it's overly clean, overly produced, like a 3D rendering of a pill or something like that. So to do that, I'm just going to use a series of different circles, strokes and outlines on top of there, play with the gradient tool, and just kind of investigate what kind of look do I want. I think that the text of Soma should be kind of ingrained, embossed into the actual pill. And then I also want to cast a shadow on the ground. And again, I'm just using gradients to do this. And that way I can have a little bit of a three-dimensional quality to the pill itself. So now that I've got the pill, I'm just copying and pasting. I'm duplicating one after the other after the other, just getting rid of pills that I don't need that are off of the page. What kind of size do I want them to be? And just trying to get an overall feel for what this book cover could look like. Now, if I wanted to, I could also expand my canvas here, and maybe I want this picture to include the book cover, or excuse me, the book spine as well. Right now it is 5 by 7, so it's only the cover of the book. I'm not taking into account the spine. Sometimes pictures spill over from the front of the cover all the way to the back side of the cover. So that's definitely a design choice that you could make. So now I'm trying to find a picture of a baby, or like a picture of a baby in utero, like a small fetus or something, because the book is very much predicated on these humans being kind of born. And so I found a couple pictures. I'm just playing with the contrast here, trying to see which one looks better. Do I like the baby face? I have saved those pills from Illustrator and moved them over into Photoshop. And so now I'm playing around with the exposure. I'm playing around with my layer modes. And these are all things that we've done in our design classes. So yeah, that looks okay. So now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play around with some color a little bit, looking kind of cool. I want something that's going to be eye-catching, but ooh, that looks cool. But something that's going to be eye-catching, but also still retain that kind of coldness of the wall of pills. Something that feels kind of medical. So overall, I think that looks pretty cool there. I'm going to take that design, that kind of blue and gold design. I'm going to paste it in my InDesign file. So notice I'm jumping from Illustrator into Photoshop into InDesign. I'm going to use InDesign, make a new layer, to play around with my text. So the one thing you do not want to do is put text or use text in Photoshop. Photoshop is a raster program, and so you are definitely going to end up with very pixelated text if you hang out there. So Illustrator is fine. InDesign is preferable. And so now I'm just playing around, just looking at what different ways can I display the title and the author's name as well. So once I've wrapped this up, once I've kind of finished up with what I want, this is just the cover. For yours, you're also going to want to take into account the extra little flaps on the side, as well as the spine. What information do you want to put on that document, right? How exactly do you want your image to come across, and how do you want it to look? What kind of feel do you want? But you want to have the complete book cover finished. So think to yourself, do you want a summary on the back? Do you want a photo of the author on the back? It is completely up to you. When you're all said and done, you've completely finished the design, you're going to go ahead and save this final document in InDesign as a PDF.